the real, raw, honest conversations about parenting teenagers in today's world. No filters, no sugarcoating, just truth, compassion, and practical insight from experts, educators, and parents who are right in the trenches alongside you. This podcast is where parents come to hear the conversations they didn't even know they needed. My mission is simple: to help you feel supported, informed, and empowered so you can build the connection with your teen that you truly want. If you want to go deeper into this work with me, stay until the end, and I will share how you can connect with me. From my heart to yours, thank you for being here, for doing the hard work of parenting, and for choosing to grow right alongside your teen. Welcome to another episode of Parenting Teens Advice Redefined, where we have the real and raw and honest conversations and supporting parents and helping you raise the most amazing human beings in the world. And when you are having all these struggles and issues, remember, hard truth, it's not them, it's you. But that's where the magic happens. So today is a little different. It's two podcast hosts and one honest conversation. Today's conversation is really meaningful to me because I'm joined by someone who also spends a lot of time deeply thinking about parenting and teens and the kind of humans we want to raise in the world. Sonia Dong is a writer, speaker, educator, podcast host, and mom of two who helps parents slow down, show up, and lead with intention. Through her podcast, Raising the Next Gen. I'm very jealous. I wish I had thought of that name. It's the best. Her speaking and her work empowering youth and families. She brings such a grounded and mindful perspective to parenting teens and tweens. Today's episode, Sonia and I are both hosts for podcasting for teens. So instead of your traditional interview, we are going to sit down and talk about our journey and what we have learned along the way, and maybe some things we've stumbled on and some big wins, and our experiences as podcasters, as moms, and as women learning along the way. So welcome, Sonia.
Thank you so much for having me, Cheryl. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Yeah, me too. So let's share too. I mean, the audience knows all about me, but let's talk about you. Who are you? What are you doing? What's the point?
Yeah, so I had been involved with an e-commerce business, product business for almost 15 years. And I started there after my first was born. And so throughout that entire time, I just felt like I was getting pushed and pulled in these different directions. Like, oh, I feel guilty because I'm working, or I feel guilty because I'm with the kids and I'm not working, and that type of thing. And as the kids were growing older into the teen and tween stage, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I thought I knew what I was doing. This is a whole new ball game. How do I raise these humans in this critical time? You know, when they're little babies, you're so focused because you're like, okay, they really need us to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And then as they grow older, you're just like, oh, well, they seem fine. They're doing their own thing. They're becoming more independent, but they're still children. And the older one is 14. She will likely, graduate high school and go do something after that, whatever it is. And she'll be an adult. And I only have this short time frame to really still guide them, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I thought of this podcast. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go out and learn things and try to incorporate it into my family. But I don't want to gatekeep that. I want to share it with other people and help other parents out there and amplify the messages from other parents and experts in the parenting field. So that's how the podcast came about. And what you said earlier about it's really about us as parents. It's not about the kids. It's about us and our journeys too, and helping us grow. And through that growth, we are supporting them to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. So you want to get your message out there. Why a podcast? Like, why that medium?
The podcast for me helps me just use my voice, and I like conversations, and I didn't want to have any pressure. Like right now it's only a voice only audio podcast. So I didn't want any pressure. Like, oh, we have to get everything ready and get my face ready and go do all these things and have that stop me from having the important conversation. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to have it so that we could have these conversations, because I feel like these days we're a little bit, we've lost the art of conversation in a way, because we're so in hustle mode and moving through things, and social media is like everything's like 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 7 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to have this space to talk. Yeah. Chat with people.
It's interesting because when I first started, I've always wanted to do the advocacy stuff as being in the schools with parents and families, and knowing that there's that gap. And then I started taking courses, you get courses online, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll create a course on how to do all of this. And the girl who was running the course was doing it through her, part of it was through her podcast. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't putting two and two together. I'm just listening, and I'm enjoying that part of it. And then one day she said, I really started the podcast because I'm not into doing like slide decks and power presentations and all of that. I just plug in and start talking. And I thought, well, holy shit, I can do that. I have no interest in slide presentations and all of that. I don't have the patience for it. Hyper, don't have the patience. And so when she said that, I thought, let's give that a shot. And the first few episodes I did were solo. Mm-hmm. And I found that so hard. I tried every strategy. I put pictures of my kids on the computer screen so I had somebody to talk to. I put separate earbuds in my ears with like calming music so I could just like chill out and just have a conversation. And it was so, I don't know. I mean, people who listened said it's good, but when you're so critical of yourself, right?
So true.
And then I tried the very first interview, and I was like, now we're talking. Now I can, this is the energy. And as I discovered later, I feel like it's the energy between two people who have the exact same mission, but come from very different places. But we just want to help parents. We just want to help kids. And it's just, when you're having those conversations, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So is there something when you first started, like when you started, when you hit record, how did you feel?
Oh, so actually what happened was I said that I wanted to do this podcast. And then I proceeded it was like 2024, the end of 2024. And I said, I'm going to start it in 2025. It's going to be my big new thing. And I got sick and I actually lost my voice for almost 6 weeks.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it wasn't completely gone, but I couldn't record myself, Yeah. When you don't want to be coughing, you don't want to have this raspiness. And I think my body was just scared, like a little bit scared in a way, right? And what you were saying about doing the solo, it's challenging at the beginning because you just feel like a little, like you kind of feel wobbly because you're like, I'm by myself and I don't know if I can support this whole thing on my own, And so I had to go through that process of just purging that fear, mm-hmm. and then getting onto the podcast and really trusting myself with my voice. Yeah. And I hear you about the solos. I had trouble doing solos. I was like, I'm going to do some interviews and then I'll intersperse solos. And those always stopped me. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier now. I don't know how it is for you.
Yeah.
With the solos as well, but you're just finding your footing, and yeah, that's what happened with me. That's how I felt about it. But I totally understand what you're talking about, and I'm getting it right now. Is sometimes I have this these tingles in my body when I'm speaking with somebody, and I got that so many times when I'm speaking with people on podcasts. And that tells me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
100%.
Yeah.
It's funny, before I started, I talked about it for about 6 months, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to start in April. I'm going to start in May. I'm going to start. And finally, my daughter, who is my biggest cheerleader, just said, just start the podcast. Like, just start it. And when your kid shames you into something, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Now my editor,
right?
Yeah. And now she's my editor. So, and it's great because she's, and she'll hear this. She'll call me out when I've said something wonky or something sounds weird. Like, it's great. But she's the absolute reason I even put record on in the first place, because I just kept thinking, it's so funny, like, oh, I don't have enough to say, or, maybe, everybody already knows this stuff. And you forget that, first of all, you've got, in my case, 28 years experience in a high school.
Mm-hmm.
I know some shit. Mm-hmm. And you forget, right? And then you also, part of me is, I don't know about you, but sometimes I would get kind of stalled in my solos, because it was like, well, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this, because you're assuming, right? And it's crazy. And then you'll be in the street and somebody will say, oh, I'm having a problem with my teen doing this. And I'll just throw up all over them with information. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Like, oh my God, Cheryl, people need this more than you need to be scared to do it.
It's so true. Yeah. I was, I had a coach. Actually, we had the same coach.
Yeah.
And he actually said to me, because I was feeling the same way. I was feeling that imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to do this podcast? Why me? Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I felt that pull to do it. And she said, well, imagine you're climbing a mountain and you may be ahead of somebody. You're going to put your hand back and support them to pull them up, aren't you? So we're all on this continuum. And sometimes I might be over here ahead of somebody, and sometimes I might be behind them. And we're just, going through life like that, right? So why not be there? And if I don't use my voice, that person who needed me won't have me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just starts with one person, right?
Yeah.
That person that you support and lift up, and that ripple effect. Right. And it's so cool to meet other podcasters who are talking about the same thing too, because we are reaching different people at different times. And I know you have how many episodes now?
170.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. And so that inspires me to keep going too.
It's something too that I know I'll never quit. Like, I find that there's lots of things, like I'm starting a business as well. So that's just kind of launching. But the podcast, I could do it all day long. And when I get off a call, and it doesn't matter how tired I was before I started the call, or I had so many things in my head, as soon as it starts, I am fired up. And I get off the call and I'm like bouncing off the walls. It does, and 170 episodes. Like, you think I'd be used to it? Nope. Every single time. It's amazing. And even the solos now, what is better for me is, I put in my frame of mind is, I picture a parent that I used to work with. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of the more challenging kids, really had significant needs, and helping them through something. And I picture them on the other side, one person, not an entire audience, not 57,000 downloads, but one person sitting on the other side who is finally getting to feel seen and heard and getting some support. So if it's that one person, I can do the solo, and I call it WTF. I do it every Friday. And of course, it's either Welcome to Friday or What the, depending on how your week went, they get to pick. So that makes it easier for me in that sense. It's weird. I still get a little resistance with the solo. But when I picture that one situation, that one person, I find at least I feel better doing that, because it's no longer about me. being nervous. Who cares if I'm nervous? Someone else over there needs to hear what I have to say.
For sure. Know? Yeah. That's such a great way to look at things, and that kind of mindset of, you're serving that person, you're there for that person, and they need you. So you're there for them. That's great.
Do you find too, and I know you do audio only, what does it feel like to get your voice out there?
It feels good, because I through this process, I've become more aware of my body, even, and the way sometimes things come to my mind, I need to be talking about this, or I'm thinking about this so much. And before, I would feel this resistance, oh, I don't want to do that, or somebody's going to judge me, or those types of things. And now I have this feeling of, I need to break that down, and I need to get that out there. And then once I do, then I feel a sense of relief almost sometimes. I don't know if that makes sense, but sometimes I feel that. So now when I get that resistance, I know that means that I actually need to speak it out loud.
Yeah.
To move it through me.
It's interesting too. What comes to me is you were in the corporate.
Yeah.
And in corporate, you're in a system. And with me, I was in the public education system. So there were systems, there were filters put on. There were, Cheryl, tone it down. Cheryl, you shouldn't be so passionate. Cheryl, blah, blah, blah. And things that, this is inclusion. Well, no, that's actually not inclusion. And I made all my career limiting moves because I had no filter in that sense. But I find that the podcast, and it took me a few episodes to even understand, this is 1000% me. Everything I say is me. And if you don't agree with me, that's okay. And if I have an opinion about something, and gentle parenting, you can tell how I feel about that. And all of that, just, this is 1000% me. And I'm really learning that if people don't like what I say, it's okay. Because the people who agree with you, who resonate, who feel you, are the ones coming in. There's no room for the other ones. And everybody has a different perspective. It's totally fine, even if you gentle parent. You know what I mean? I find being on the podcast, I'm 1000% me. And when even the editing process, unless it's a dog jumps in and bites you or something, I don't edit the content. I get Gabby to edit, add the intro, add the outro, and things like that. But it just feels it's so real. It's so real. And I love that. I had one guest on one day, and towards the end of it, her daughter jumps on her knee and starts picking her nose. And she's like, cut that out. I'm like, absolutely not. And I was in stitches and she was in stitches, but that would have been, it's not a CBC interview. Yeah. It's real life, having a real conversation. And guess what? Your kid does jump up on the screen and pick their nose. Yeah. So it just feels I feel like I'm so me in this position. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel the same way. So I've always felt whatever I was in the e-commerce business, before that, I was in the nonprofit world for about 10 years, school, whatever it was, I always felt like I was boxed in a way. And now I'm doing the thing that I want to do and doing it in my way, and realizing that I can define what it looks like for me, what success looks like for me, what contributing looks like for me, giving back in this way to other people, or supporting other people. And it's so important to me at this time of life and through this podcast, because I want to be able to show my kids, that they can also do that too, that to recognize when they're boxed in, or recognize, when obviously we live in this world, and we need to communicate with others and coordinate with others and all that, but really to understand that you can always be yourself. And it's so difficult for kids and for me for 40 plus years of my life to even understand that. Yeah. And so being able to do this means that I can actually live that live that way,
Yeah.
live by being me.
Can you, and I have my answer in my head, but I want to ask you this question. What is one thing that you've discovered about podcasting that you never expected? Like, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I think I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to talk to people and I'm going to learn things and I'm going to share what they're doing and all the amazing tidbits and learnings and growth and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't realize how it would make me feel.
Yeah.
That would make me feel so good.
Yeah.
And I came into it thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to help other parents, but it's helped me so much. So it's really pouring into me and realizing that as it's pouring into me, I can pour outwards even more.
Yeah.
That's What about you?
Love that. And I totally agree. And I find that, and this is for anybody listening, like moms who are just listening to this and not have anything to do with anything, but go, I have not felt that feeling because I'm so trapped.
Mm-hmm.
And to just seek out anything that you just love to do. And even if you do it for 5 minutes a day and then 10 minutes a day, then you start recognizing who you are and what brings you so much joy. And I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in our schedules and our have-to-dos and our raising our kids that we forget.
Mm-hmm.
And when our kids see us in our joy, that's their gift, But my big win, I'm going to get emotional, I do every time I say this, is that my voice will always be there for my kids.
Oh my gosh.
No, I just got my first grandson yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And for you, like you I'm sure you're going to hear this, is like when our kids have kids and they're like, oh my God, they're having a hard time in school or they had a fight with their friend. They can go to episode 73 and hear their mom, whether I'm here or not.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? I just think, and Gabby will edit this and she'll say every once in a while, she'll say, oh man, I really learned something from that one. And she doesn't have kids yet, or maybe not. I don't know if she will, but, and when she said that one day, I was like, oh my God, my voice is there forever. They can never not hear me. Like my dad passed a few years ago and I have a couple of short videos with his voice and him. And like, I cherish them and they're like 30 seconds long. And I'm like, now my kids don't have to do that. They can just go to Spotify. And I just love that. And they may not agree with anything I say, but I don't care. They could be one day my mom's not here and I just need to hear her voice. And
oh my gosh.
right?
I definitely got so many chills then. I'm tearing up and that's your legacy. That's our legacy.
Yes.
Right?
That's ours. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So when you are, days you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I don't feel like doing content, whatever. No, just keep your legacy going. I think that's so cool.
That is so
cool. Okay. I want to ask then, let's talk about interviews for a second. What have you learned? And I'm sure if you've done a number of episodes, but is there different things that you've picked up from other guests? And I don't know about you, but once you start having conversations with guests, you start to realize how much you actually know and can contribute, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything that stands out from other guests' interviews that you're like, yes, that's absolutely right?
Yeah, that's helped me as a parent.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of things that really helped me is to learn about generational trauma and your inner child and just like how things affect your parenting, how you were brought up affects your parenting and how far back that goes really, like, not just your memory of what happened, but when you're a toddler, when you're a baby, and understanding why I was acting a certain way towards my children. Yeah. And so that really helped me. And then really getting a sense of again, like what my body's telling me, what my intuition's telling me, and being able to voice that and to myself, but to other people too. That's been something that's been very key for me in terms of being able to not to separate how I'm feeling and what I've done. Like if I've made a mistake or something like that, I admit these things to the kids now. It's not like how my parents were like, just do the thing. And if they made a mistake, they're not going to say anything about it. They're just going to just sweep it under and just think that it's going to go away. And so all those things I've kind of started incorporating much more and understanding how to repair, how to share how I'm feeling, how to share my struggles.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing because, back with my parents, again, they were just like, we don't want to talk about this stuff. If something financial is happening or somebody got into a fight, we're not going to talk about that with you because you're kids and you won't understand. And now it's just like, okay, we're going to share it with the kids. We don't have to share everything, but we want to share if something's challenging or if something's going well, just the multitudes of life really. That really helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I find too that there seems to be, and I don't know, it's who I'm attracting now for podcast guests, but there's this underlying kind of theme, and it really comes from, it's not them, it's you, is where we look for validation and confirmation as parents. And I reflect so much on, and I have a Facebook group, and the only thing I do in it now is put my podcast in there. But I find I go on these parenting Facebook groups and I do it because I just want to add value. I just want to help. And I see people asking deep, like value, moral questions on a Facebook group. You have no idea who they are. You have no idea who got into this group. You have no idea if they even have kids. And you're asking them things about, well, should my 16-year-old daughter be on the pill? Or should my, 17-year-old son have his girlfriend sleep over? And should I let them drive early? And can I let them drink at home? Like things where I feel like if you are asking these questions, like you need to turn it in and decide how it makes you feel. Like if your daughter says, I really, I want to, have my boyfriend sleep over and shut the bedroom door. If your whole body goes, oh, no. But then you start, and then the negotiating lawyers that we raise say, well, you never trust me. We won't do anything. My friends do it, blah, blah, blah. And you allow that to start diminishing your value or your standard. And then you go reach out externally to see how everybody else is doing it. Like, what? Yeah. What? That drives me crazy when I think if you make decisions based on your own values, you can just stand sturdy. You can just say, no, that's not how I parent. You don't have to negotiate. You don't have to start looking for other excuses and get wishy-washy on your answer when it's how you value, how you parent. This is how I'm showing up as a mom. I don't need to be your friend. I don't even want to be your friend. My job is to parent with my standards, my values, and keep you safe and keep food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Hard.
I think we just don't have, because we're just in this kind of hustle grind culture and being busy all the time and things happening so quickly. I think it's challenging for people to step back and just take a minute and be in discomfort with how they're feeling too, right? And reflect, what actually are my values and what actually are the values that I want to instill in my kids. Yeah. And when you go to a Facebook group with people who you have no idea what their values are, you've never seen their faces, you've never had a conversation with them. It's this kind of I think we talked about it last time when we first met, was that shallowness of that relationship. It's not even a relationship. It's just the interaction. It's so shallow, right?
Yeah.
Where with the podcasts are with people you actually know, family, friends, and having an honest conversation with them, it's deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think that's where the podcast kind of can slow that down and have that deeper conversation. And they can learn, but they can still decide, does this fit in with my values, or does this open up the possibilities of what I want to do, or how I want to act with my kids, how I want to raise them, right? So yeah, that's sometimes I struggle with the Facebook groups.
And people are very quick to, some people, oh my gosh, and someone is just trying to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes down this real hate vortex. I can't even look at it anymore.
No.
I can't even respond to it. So tell me something in with your podcast. Obviously you go on social media with it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you experienced people who disagree with what you're saying?
I haven't yet. I think that some people maybe just are kind of bypassing. They're like, oh, I don't agree with it, so I'm not gonna say anything. But I haven't had anybody being like adding comments that are negative. And I'm a very like open person in terms of, what are the different types of ways we can raise our kids, or what are these ideas or those ideas. And so on the podcast, sometimes I think, oh, is somebody going to be upset because first of all, I talked to this person, this was their opinion about this. And I talked to somebody else and they have a different opinion about it. But I think that's where I want to be, to present those different opinions. And then you can decide. So I haven't had anybody trolling me or anything. How about you?
Yes. I and that's what made me think of it, is I did a couple of podcasts with a transgender woman, and then I did a couple on pronouns, like addressing pronouns. And yeah, I had a few people say, oh, if you're born a boy, you are a boy. And why do you have to, I don't understand why kids have to change their names, and all of it's like had nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, but it's not your name. And I found myself, one person said, oh, they went from Jane to Joe to this to that. And I engaged for a moment. I crumbled and I said, so when you got married, did your wife change your name? Like, did you remember what her new name was and not her? Or like, did you come on, let's and then I stopped, because then I thought, no, this is not how I'm engaged. And I totally blocked it. And I could see it, like other people jumping in to defend, other people, this is no. And so I deleted all the comments and just thought, the fighter in me wants to because you get all mama bear, right? You want to protect like the community of kids. But then, through our coaching, nope, this is where I stand steady. That's an external vice that I don't need to engage in, and just keep being the light instead of getting dragged into the dark. But yeah, it gets tough sometimes, because you just want to go,
totally.
Welcome to Friday.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think it's so difficult not to engage, I think. And that's why I try to not be in the Facebook groups too much, the Facebook mom parenting groups, because it's so divisive. And what we're trying to do is create that community, and that, being there for people and supporting people. We're not trying to create walls and those types of things.
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask, what topic do you think parents are really struggling with? I mean, there's many, but what comes to mind, what they're really struggling with right now? Like maybe one topic you're like, oh, off the top of my head, it's this.
There are so many. The one that I'm focused on and in trying to help people with right now is connection. I really do feel that we're disconnected. And there are so many things in our lives that disconnect us, right? So, and in a world where we are supposedly the most connected we've ever been, because it's so easy, the internet, the phones, all those things, we are actually disconnected with ourselves, with nature, with our kids, with other people. And it is a lot of those shallow interactions where you just don't really feel like you're connected. And how is that affecting us in terms of mental health and the way we move through life and how we feel about life? So that's what I'm really interested in digging into these days.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because I'm almost like not the opposite, but in a different perspective, disconnect from the 24/7 access to social media. And I think parents really struggle with the fact that these are uncharted territory. And, we have to sometimes just let go that we can't parent the way we were parented. Sometimes there's these new things that come up, whether it's ChatGPT or, WhatsApp or Snapchat or whatever it is. I feel like instead of shutting things down because we don't know what it is and we're afraid of it, or we're like ripping it out of their hands and then they're doing it anyway, if parents could kind of go, okay, maybe we could be curious together about what we're looking at. So, what is ChatGPT and what like, it's there, we're going to use it. But I've had a couple of experts on, they're like, well, ChatGPT is the yes man, and ChatGPT is now becoming the girlfriend or the boyfriend and saying everything they want to say here. And it's true. That's what unless you say to ChatGPT, be like a brutally honest, no filter, then you get something from it. But if I just said, oh, you know what, I would really like bacon and eggs, and I'm on a diet, they would say, oh, that's okay. Just have a treat. You deserve it. You've done so well. Like,
true.
My best friend ever. Right? So I think it's the fact that we have to admit as parents, and I admit 100%, that we have never experienced anything like this ever.
No, it's true.
In the sense of technology and accessibility and all these techno things that are coming out that I feel like the world puts out and then has to back paddle to put the safety measures in instead of doing all the safety measures first. And what that means and how kids, we could go to school at our age, or my age anyway, and have a fight with somebody and come home and it's done. But you have a fight with somebody at school and now it's all over Facebook and it's all over WhatsApp and it goes home with you, and your kid is in this spiral of it and cannot let it go unless we have these guidelines and questions and curiosity. And I think that's what I would say right now for me is like, we need to step back, and instead of like coming at things with the fear of the unknown, sit down and be curious with your kid. Let's look up what ChatGPT actually is. Let's look up what WhatsApp is. Let's see the good things and the bad things about it. And, then work together through, because I don't know. As a parent, you don't know. And when my kids were young, I never said I don't know. Are you kidding me? I was like, I'm going on Google. I cannot say I don't know. I know everything. I am the mom. So I don't have a podcast because I was a perfect parent. I have a podcast because I want to help you not step on the landmines I stepped on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
We want to be able to help people by telling them what we did wrong, right? And to admit that we did things wrong.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's so true. Disconnection. Like, I think they are, like, I'm talking about connection, you're talking about disconnection in a way, but also, disconnecting from, I think it's like a balance thing, right? Like,
for sure.
What are you plugging into? Are you plugging into your social media today? Are you plugging into nature today? And that kind of thing. And it's so true, doing things together. Sometimes I feel like we say we're parents and we're going to do this thing. I was just talking to parents about this other day. We were talking about volunteering for the kids. And, what are they volunteering for? How are they going to get involved? And then we're like, you know what? Why don't we volunteer with them? Because we want to instill that value that you give back. And it's like, why is giving back only in Ontario, it's 40 hours high school, right? But why is it only the 40 hours? Do you finish volunteering at that time and you don't give to your community after that?
Yeah.
And how do we show that as parents? And how do we be curious with the kids and with music too? It's just, oftentimes I think about it because I think about my parents going, why are you listening to that crap?
Yeah.
And then I've done the same thing with the kids now too. I say, why do you like that artist? Why do you like that music? And now I've switched it around to be, I'd actually like to know, because maybe we listen to it together and it's not my cup of tea, but there's a reason for you to like it. And I want to get to know you.
Yeah.
So that kind of connection, it's the same as what you're talking about with ChatGPT or whatever social media it is. Like, let's look at it together.
Yeah.
Let's see what is working and what's not working. How can we create boundaries around it? Yeah, it's
so good. This has been so fun, like such a different type of podcast, and so much fun. I love talking about this stuff, especially what the journey's been like. Like, it's just been so cool.
Yeah.
And continues.
Pardon?
And continues to be.
Yeah, it continues so much. I'd love to learn from you because you have so many more episodes than me. I have almost 40 episodes now. I just started my journey. What guests are you? Has it changed in terms of how you interview, how you do your solos, what kinds of guests you have on?
Yeah, I think once you establish yourself as so it used to be, when I first started, I would be like going into all these groups and trying to seek out guests. And now in the last, I guess, 6 months, I have 3 or 4 really reliable podcast booking people who have hired, they get hired and they come directly to me and give me a lowdown, but they're very like integrous. They know my podcast. They know the episodes. They can speak to them, which is very impressive to me because I get a lot of people come on and say, I want to be on your podcast. Oh, which episode did you like? Oh, I haven't had time to listen yet. Like, okay. Okay. Well, here's the link and let me know. But now it feels like the right people are now gravitating to me, and I have not had to reach out for, I think I have 15 recorded waiting to go out.
Amazing.
Because I don't want to stop. I keep thinking I should take a break and catch up a little bit. And it's like, but no, I don't want to stop. So I just warn people when it comes out, it might be like 10 weeks from now or whatever. But so I just find, I think as your voice gets out there, those who are attracted to what you think and what you believe, they're the ones that come in. And I think that you will, if you haven't already discovered that, you will discover that. And it's so easy because you have like this underlying kind of vision together, even though you come from very different perspectives, which I think is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's so great. Yeah. I feel like I could speak with you forever.
I know, me too. I know, I'm looking at the time going, okay, maybe we need to do a sequel. But before we sign off, I want people to hear about you and your podcast and where we find it, where we can hear it, all things Sonia.
Thank you. It's called Raising the Next Gen, and it is on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. So it focuses on teens and tweens, and with open hearts and open minds, and to learn and to share and to grow as parents, to help our kids grow into the amazing people that we know they are.
Yeah.
That's where we are. And I would love for you to tell my listeners as well about your podcast and where we can find you. And
I'm Parenting Teens Advice Redefined, and across all platforms, including YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, Cheryl Pankhurst, and just launching this advocacy business, Insight to Impact, where I help parents go from my kid just got a diagnosis and I don't know what the hell to do with it, to taking that journey together so they have a voice, their kids have a voice in the school. They know their rights, they know what's available, and they get them off to the right foot for the rest of their life to know that they can ask for what they need.
That's so important. And it's beautiful that you're supporting parents with advocating and self-advocating, because it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
And a life skill that kids need as soon as they can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sonia, this has been an absolute joy. You're such a gift. I love getting to know you through the coaching and through this. And I would love to do this again. And
Me too.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for listening to Parenting Teens. Don't forget to share and subscribe and send this to people who need to hear it. You just never know whose life you're going to change just by sharing. Thank you for listening and have a beautiful day.
Before you go, I really want you to know something. I'm not just a podcaster. I'm a speaker, a published author, and the founder of Insight to Impact. I'm an educational strategist and family advocate with over 25 years of experience helping families and schools support teenagers from diagnosis to IEPs, to interpreting assessments, to high school transitions, and beyond. This podcast, Parenting Teens Advice Redefined for Today's World, is part of my mission to help parents understand schools, support their teens, and feel heard and seen at the table. If today's episode helped you, please subscribe or follow the show, share it with another parent, and leave a review. It truly helps families find the support, and I'm very grateful when you do these things. And if your teen is struggling in school, navigating a new diagnosis, or you need help preparing support at school, you can work with me directly through educational consulting or my 90-day advocacy program. Just visit CherylPankhurst.com to learn more and to book a complimentary consultation to see if I can help. I know parenting is frickin' hard, but if you're listening to podcasts, if you're reading the books, if you're looking for answers, you are not failing because you're still trying. You do not have to figure this out alone. I got you, and we'll see you next week.